What's going on, faded culture? My name is Sergio Barron and we are back with another crazy transformation haircut tutorial. But before we do that, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. And also make sure y'all text FC63 to this number right here so y'all stay up to date to our exclusive drops that we have for y'all, and y'all could join our inner circle. Also make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, Sergio Barron _. And like always, before I start, I wet the hair really well so that we can comb through the hair that much easier, and we can easily separate the side from the top of the hair. I always like to break down my hair, especially when you're working with longer hairstyles and you're gonna go ahead and trim everything down. You wanna kind of set yourself up so that you don't get overwhelmed through the process. So doing this helps me kind of break down sections in the haircut so that we can work on a section at a time, and then slowly bring it all together. Here I'm gonna go ahead and use our very own Faded Culture shear set that y'all can find at fadedculture.com. And then here, starting from the back, I'm gonna go ahead and put my knuckles all the way to the scalp and cut most of this excess hair that we have hanging around the parietal ridge area all around his head. From the back, I did place my knuckles on the occipital bone area, and then on the sides I placed them right above the temple peak area, and I just created that line, making sure that it was parallel all around the head. This line is going to be our foundation that we connect the sides to, as well as what we connect the top to. And since we are doing a skin fade, I'm booming my knuckles all the way to, I'm making sure that I put my knuckles all the way to the skin. Now I'm gonna go ahead and dry off the hair really quick so that we can use our clippers on the hair when it's dry. You never really want to use your clipper on wet hair. That's kind of similar to cutting wet grass. You never really do that. If you do, you're just kind of built different. But yeah, we're going ahead and just connecting with that 3-guard lever open into that foundation that we just cut into with our shear work. As I said, he did have a long hair before he came in. I almost called TPS on his dad for allowing this to happen, but you know, I guess he brought him and that's all that matters. But anyway, yeah, we're just debulking a lot of this excess hair so we can go ahead and start setting in our guidelines for our fade. But I'm gonna go ahead and close the lever on the clipper all the way into a 0 to set in our first guideline. And since it is a slight drop fade, I'm gonna make sure that this line slants as I reach the back of the head so that it can give us the foundation of our drop fade effect. And then just take your time, because this first line needs to flow as straight and even as possible around the head, because if this line is not straight, then your whole fade's not going to be straight and it's just going to be a mess. So just take your time, make sure it's straight before you move on to the next line. For the next line, as you see, I opened the lever on the clipper and then just came up about a ½ inch from that previous line that we just set. After that, I went ahead and used the number 1 guard, lever fully open for the next guideline. Again, guys, with small, smooth strokes, coming up about another ½ inch from the previous line. Following that up with the 1 guard, lever fully open. Here, I'm not so much thinking that I'm setting in a guideline. I'm more so thinking I'm trying to connect to the side already. So just coming up about a ½ inch from the previous. And then after that, I grabbed the number 2 guard, lever fully open, and I did the exact same thing to finish connecting the side to the top. And now here you're basically left with these 2 guidelines to blend out, and I'm gonna start blending out that top guideline, starting with the ½ guard, and I'm gonna position the lever at 3/4 open. And now all that position is, guys, it's a little bit closed from the lever being fully open. And then I'm gonna slowly start attacking that top guideline. It is going to leave a little faint line or a little darker area above, so this guard won't completely blend it out, but just take out the initial start of it, and then whatever it don't fade out, you'll come back with the 1 guard lever still in that same 3/4 position and finish taking it out. And as you can see, I'm using more so the corner of the clipper so that I could blend it out in a more detailed fashion. After that, I'm gonna go ahead and start blending out the bottom line. Now remember, we did set it in with the clipper lever closed, so now I'm gonna come in. I opened it about a 1/4 ways and I started blending. Then I opened it halfway, continued blending a little bit higher, and then I opened it all the way until I finished blending that initial guideline out into the fade. And then since it did take me 3 levers to completely blend out that first line, I like to break it down into about 2 to 3 inches in workspace at a time. So as you see, I worked behind the ear for the first part, and now I came back, or once I was done behind the ear, I came to the front part of the hairline and finished taking out that first initial guideline using the exact same steps, guys. It's about 3 lever positions that I use, starting with it 1/4 ways open and halfway open and then fully open, moving up a little bit at a time as you gradually see that line blend out. And also, guys, if you'd like to purchase any professional tools from WAHLpro.com, go ahead and use our code FADECULTURE15 so y'all can get a 15% discount on any tools that y'all purchase from them. They went ahead and partnered with us to be able to help us offer y'all better deals on the tools. Next, I went ahead and used our Faded Culture thinning shears so we can go ahead and debulk all these little dark areas that you see around the parietal ridge area, just so we can better transition the side to the top. Next, I went ahead and grabbed my trimmer to take out the rest of the bottom of the hair before we came in with our electric shaver to really get it down to the skin as bald as possible. I know some people don't like using or maybe don't have the electric shaver, so if you like, or if that's all you have, then just use the trimmer and you'll be done there. But if you do have access to an electric shaver, then go ahead and get it down to the skin, and that's gonna give you that really bald skin fade effect. Then go ahead and do the exact same steps on the backside, just setting in your guidelines and then blending them out. I know I faded out one side of his hair first. I started off with the left side and then I worked my way off to the back and then the right side of the head. Me personally, I don't know why I like to work this way, where I just focus on one side of the head at a time. So while I'm working in shop, I'll technically, I don't even lay down my first guideline all around the head, because I've done it so long, I'm able to I know where the guideline needs to be throughout the whole haircut. But for beginner purposes, I do recommend at least you set in your first guideline all around the haircut. That way you have a baseline to reference off of. And then after that, if you want, you could go ahead and fade all around the head as you go. Do the whole thing at once. Or you could do it like I'm doing here, where you just focus on one side at a time. For me personally, I don't know why, it's always felt better to work one side at a time. It just, mentally, it helps me be more detailed. And yeah, I don't know. The more, I remember I used to do that, where I set in the whole guideline all around and then set in all my guidelines all around. And it just felt like it was overwhelming. So I don't know. But go ahead and try both in the beginning and see what just feels better for you and stick with that. And I've also had a few people tell me that the 3/4 position doesn't work for them. And honestly, that could be a number of things. I really couldn't tell you over a text what's going on. I'd have to see the haircut you're working on and see your tools as well, because it could be from our clippers not being adjusted the same way. It could be the clippers you're actually using. Maybe it's not the same clipper. It could be guards even have a role. Sometimes the guards that we're using may not be exactly the same in length, if that makes sense. So I always say at least position the lever at 3/4, start from there, and if you see that it's not doing any cutting, then go ahead and just close it a tad bit at a time until you see the clipper actually start doing some fading, but not too much, if that makes sense. And also, guys, keep in mind that my brother and I are working on a community course that we plan on opening up here soon. We're trying to make it as perfect as possible, so it's taking a while, but yeah, hopefully that in our community we'll be able to cater more to all of y'all's questions and better help y'all on a more one-on-one intimate level, to where we really hear y'all's frustrations and help y'all on video calls and go live with y'all and things of that nature. So just be on the lookout for that, guys. But now, once we're done with the sides, I went ahead and re-wet the hair so we can start doing our shear work on top. I started by splitting the hair down the middle first so that we can chop up everything that's hanging off to the sides. Basically starting from the back, placing my knuckles back up onto the skin, but then once I passed the ear, I went ahead and kind of flared out my fingers a little bit away from the skin so that we can leave the hair towards the front a little bit longer. And then just follow through with repeating the exact same steps on the opposite side so that we don't have too much hair hanging off to the sides. Then after that, go ahead and comb everything down to the front. And then I'm gonna go ahead and part out my profile section down the middle. And this is where I'm gonna determine how much length I wanna cut. From the top, I went ahead and took out about 2 inches of length. Then just follow that line all the way till you connect to the back. Then after that, just go ahead and comb that same profile section off to the right side. Then grab a small section starting from the back. And then here you should notice that small section, your profile section on the left side, and that's what you're gonna connect to. You can better see it right here in the zoomed in angle. And then also notice that I'm not using a straight line to cut. That's just so that we can leave a more of a textured finish on the edges of the hairline. So I tend to use my scissors in a more, like in a 45-degree angle, just to give that textured finish. Then after that, just go ahead and again start from the back and then repeat the exact same steps but on the left side of the head so that we can match everything to that profile section that we cut down the middle. And also guys, let me know down in the comments, what are the type of things that y'all would love to learn from us on a more intimate level on our community course, as I'd love to touch on anything that y'all have or that y'all want to learn on more. But I do plan on offering a step-by-step guide into bringing y'all into the barbering world, how to start from day one, and then taking you all the way into mastering the art of fading, and then so on from there, teaching y'all how to market yourselves, how to use the cameras the way we do, and editing and all of that stuff. But if there's any other things y'all like us to touch on, then just feel free to let us know down in the comments. But back to the tutorial, I went ahead and grabbed my trimmers to start the edge up. For this hairstyle, he didn't need an edge up, but he wanted an edge up, so I went ahead and just pulled the long hairs out of the way and just quickly set in my hard lines. And then for the actual shave, I went ahead and used our Faded Culture shaving gel. Applied a thin coat along all the edges that I will be using my straight razor so that we don't create any razor burn or irritate the area. And then I used my slide razor to shave off all of the edges to give us that extra sharp look. I always tend to shave down along, or I guess shave away most of the hair that you see, and then I'll shave against the grain, pushing up against our hard lines to give it that really crispy finish. And I always recommend, guys, that you style your client's haircut every single time. I don't care if they tell you no, just do it anyway, because who cares? Because this is your walking canvas. If they walk out of your shop or from wherever you're cutting at and somebody recognizes that cut, well, most of the time they're going to recognize it more when it's styled, because it just looks that much more fresh. But I went ahead and used our Faded Culture matte clay, and then I just blow dried it into the style that I was looking for. But here's the before and the after. I hope y'all guys really enjoyed this tutorial and were able to learn something from it, guys. If y'all did, please just don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel, and also feel free to check out the rest of the tutorials that we have on our channel. But like always, guys, my name is Sergio Barron. This is Faded Culture, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Peace.